eat healthy and do the things because we can. So we
Indeed.
can continue to do it.
I totally agree.
Are
We
we
are.
Just like live.
Yeah, we are. We are. Rachel and I were just talking about how her mom is 73, you said?
76.
76.
Sorry,
and
Mom,
is
if you
still
didn't want
active.
people to know, but you are, and you're
Yeah.
awesome.
And is still active, which is amazing. Today we're talking about the 5 ways to eat healthy while traveling. What inspired you to bring this topic today?
Yeah, well, my mom and Mike, my mom's husband, were just visiting me for the last week here in Texas. And
Nice.
I was thinking about 2 things. One, I was thinking about my clients when they go on vacation, and because I felt like I was a little on vacation this week. And how do you eat healthy when you're on vacation? But also props to my mom and Mike that, they're in their, well, Mike's not in his 70s yet. Sorry, Mike. But we got to do lots of active things. And so if you nice. Start now or start wherever you're at and eat healthy and work out, you get to continue to enjoy all the things. You're not limited you're not limited by activity. So whatever you want to do. Our family happens to like to be in the water. So we were kayaking yesterday. So,
nice.
How awesome. I was thinking about all of you yesterday as I was kayaking. It was 75 in Austin.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, it's been rainy the last few days here, and it's still raining, but tomorrow the sun comes out.
Yeah.
Good morning, Patricia. Good to see you in the comments. All right, let's dive into each one.
Dive in. So I have 5. There's probably
what is number
25.
25. What would you say is number 1? What's the first way to eat healthy while traveling?
Yeah, and so I didn't prioritize these necessarily a little bit, but the first one is bring healthy snacks. So bring healthy snacks with you. So whether you are flying in an airplane or you're driving, there are ways to bring healthy snacks. So look at the snack guide that you created. And if people don't know, I don't know, Ryan, if you want to talk about your snack guide in a second, but bring bring healthy snacks with you. So is that nuts? Is it you can bring hard-boiled eggs on the airplane. Maybe not eat them on the airplane, but you can you can bring healthy things with you. So, or in the car, pack a cooler, pack things so that you have options, at your disposal.
I love that. We had a comment come through as well. Kathy says, "Good morning. This is awesome. I'm on vacation in the Philippines right now. Eating has been a challenge." Kathy, it is
jealous. Philippines, I'm jealous. That's awesome.
What I'll do really quick too is I'm just going to drop the 2 snack guides. We're not going to go over them right now, but I'm going to drop both snack guides in the comments so that you guys can go there if you feel like you need them. So preparation ahead of time. If people are tracking their food, then it's obviously food that fits into their macros, fits into their plan. But just having like that couple minutes ahead of time, it sounds like, to prepare. Okay, it makes sense. Easy.
It doesn't take long, but bring something, just have something with you because you do that anyway. So we talk about bringing stuff in your car to work or having things at work in your desk or at your station or someplace, having those things. Do that same thing. Don't get out of your routine just because you are going on vacation. Vacation doesn't mean like stopping everything that you're doing and going back over here. It just means
you're doing it in a new place.
You're doing the same thing, consistency, doing that consistent thing in the same place. So
yeah, exactly.
Bring it with you because you can.
What's number 2?
Researching, and this you can do at home too, researching restaurant menus before you go. So this doesn't necessarily have to do with traveling, but with traveling for sure, because you're probably going to be eating out. But one of the things that I tell my clients is that regardless if you're traveling or at home, before you go to a restaurant, most 99% of restaurant menus are online.
Yes.
So going out to eat is a big deal, regardless of where you are. But take the stress away and take the decision factor away. When you're in your hotel room, when you're on your couch at home, look at the menu, pick what you want. When you're in a non-stressed environment, choose what you want to have. And then when you're at the restaurant, then just enjoy the people that are around you.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the actual thing of going out, because you know what happens when you go out? Somebody brings you the meal. Somebody cooks it for you. Somebody cleans up. I mean, so there's so many things about like going to a restaurant that you are being catered to. You don't have to make make the meal less about the meal itself. And I'm sure you're going to have something delicious, but make it about the event rather than about the actual food.
That's really significant. I feel like just taking the decision out of it, especially when the more temptation is there. Because like you go to the restaurant, you're walking by, you see the, you know, all these other foods and you're there in the moment. And plus you have people around you that are probably like, whatever, on vacation, you know, and then you're like, ah. But yeah, to just know ahead of time, like what you're going to have, decision, like.
Don't even get the menu. Like, don't even get the menu. Then
you don't need it.
You don't need it because you already know what you're going to have.
That's powerful. I like that. I mean, I like that even just for speed. Nothing drove me up a wall more when I was a kid. We'd go out to eat, and I love you, Mom. Hope you're listening. She's in this group. It was funny because right before this, Rachel was telling, obviously her mom's coming to visit, and was telling me that she's telling me that she told her mom that she's doing these lives on Fridays, and her mom's like, I gotta tune in, which is great. But my mom tunes in sometimes too. So if you do hear this, Mom, I love you. But when we were younger, it would be like the waitress comes around, waiter comes around, it'd be like, oh, I don't know yet. We need more time. And it would be like 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm so hungry. So that's great. I love it. Cut out the that as well.
And it's really about, again, making those healthy decisions, because you can be, if you put yourself in that stress-free environment and people-free environment, make the decision, make a good decision. And it's not like you have to make the healthiest. You don't have to have a salad, but make a healthy, informed choice before you go out. And then really, life isn't about, I know food gets all tied up into culture and family and stuff. I mean, and we're never going to get away from that, but remove some of that and then really be present and be about the event and the people that you're with. Like, be about them, not about the food.
I love it. That's so cool. What's number 3?
Number 3, bringing your water bottle. People, you can bring your water bottle, right?
I love it.
Like, you have your water bottle. I have a client I love her. Well, I love all my clients, but when we first started talking, she had a water bottle at work, and her husband happened to be listening in when we were doing our first call. And so we were talking about water. And so her husband bought her a home water bottle. So she's a work water bottle and a home water bottle. I'm like, oh,
I love that.
So supportive. But then have a vacation water bottle, or bring your home water bottle with you, right? You can bring it on an airplane. Please dump the water out before you go through security, but bring your water bottle with you. I don't know what else to say. Bring your water bottle with you.
I mean, human nature is the path of least resistance, right? So I know this for me. If I'm like sitting at this desk and I'm here for 3-4 hours at a time, if I don't have this, like right now I'm feeling a little thirsty, I am not going to get up, especially not now when we're live, like to go over and do it. But even if I'm doing work, like I'm focused. I'm not going to go do that. But having it right here, quick sip and done, prime our environment for what we want. I love that. Bring your water bottle around. And I would say also one of sufficient size. Like this one is 48 ounces. This was probably going to last you like a good part of your day versus, I graduate from like the 6-ounce ones, which you drink in like a gulp. Having a bigger spout, I found as well, helps me drink more water. So whether it be a big straw like the Stanleys or a big spout, I found helped me. I don't know about you.
Well, okay, that's interesting, because let me play like that, just the other side of things. I would say if you're traveling, so let's just talk about travel. Bring a water bottle that fits in, like if you have a side.
That's true. We're talking about travel.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bring something. But no, I would go the bigger the better for me too. But I would go with something that you will bring. So that's number 1. And for me, honestly, it's so funny that you say the bigger the spout. I like the smaller, because if I have a bigger spout, I'm not as good at drinking, but I would spill it down my throat. Down myself.
Make a mess.
But then I waste the water. So
that's funny.
Anyway, so what I would say is you do you in terms of water bottles, but bring your water bottle. Just bring your water bottle. That is all I have to say. And I laugh a little bit about this because we're talking a little bit about family. But when I was growing up, we would take a lot of road trips, and my dad was one of those. You don't stop until the gas tank is on E.
Until it's effective. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny that you say that the gas tape is effective. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe not have that rule, because I want you to drink water and then I want you to, so be okay with pulling off at the gas station and go to the bathroom.
Definitely true.
And sit on the aisle so that you can, go to the bathroom in the airplane. So
definitely. Kathy says, yes, water bottle is a must. I will say too, interestingly, I don't know if everyone knows this, because I didn't know it for many, many years. You can bring food on an airplane through security. You just can't bring water. So you have to buy the water.
You can't bring liquid something. So don't bring your smoothie through.
Yeah, you can't bring a smoothie through, but you can bring solid food, snacks, whatever. You can't bring water, because I guess that could be an explosive or liquid nitrogen or I don't
just know. Like you can't wear your shoes like that. So it's stupid.
Yeah, but you can bring food. I didn't know that. Yeah. So
your hard-boiled eggs, your sandwiches. You can make sandwiches. Yeah. You can bring whatever.
Yeah, if you want
whatever you want.
Depending on how you want people on the plane to like you, maybe.
Although you can eat your hard-boiled eggs like just while you're waiting. You can eat the eggs while you're waiting in the airport. Probably not on
crack open the fish you made on Sunday.
Tuna fish. Yeah. Eat those in the airport.
Yes.
But sometimes you have delays. Sometimes you have whatever. So. But
what is number 4?
Bring water and bring your food. Yes, those are okay. Number 4. Are we ready? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Number 4, if you can, stay somewhere with a kitchen. So if you're going someplace on vacation, so now we're going back to vacation mode. If you're going somewhere on vacation, and I honestly love getting a VRBO or an Airbnb or a rental house, preferable to a hotel anyway, because if I'm with my family and you're sharing, if there's more people, one, you have privacy, then you get space, but then you have a kitchen, because think about the meals. If you're staying in a hotel room, then you have to go out for all of your meals.
Yes.
If you stay in a house, and sometimes it's less expensive even, then you can cook breakfast. And why not start with a healthy breakfast anyway? Because breakfast, let's do it healthy. Let's stay in a house. Let's have that there. You can have your healthy snacks. You can do all that. You can have maybe you come back and have a lunch there. Maybe once in a while you have a dinner, or you've gone out to dinner 3 days in a row. You have all these leftovers. Then you have leftovers for lunch. Just stay somewhere with a kitchen. One, it saves money, but 2, it's easier to control. And I'm not shoulding anybody or saying that anybody should, but you probably don't need to go out for 3 meals a day every day for 7 days.
Right.
So this makes it just easier and healthier, right?
Yeah. Kathy says, I brought nuts, sliced apples, grapes, crackers, and cheese. So glad I did for a 13.5-hour flight. I would be too. Yes, that's good. You brought something. That is fantastic.
The other thing, can I just say about flights, is that I think it's so weird that we as Americans got conditioned to, you have to eat something on a flight. Like, you're only on there for, the Philippines is a whole different thing. But if
13.5 hours.
If you're staying in the United States, the flights maybe up to 4 hours if you're doing, cross-country flight. There are times during your workday that you don't eat during those 4 hours.
Yeah.
Why do we feel like we have to eat on a flight, right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too, is to put in your mindset, I'm not going to starve if I don't have something to eat during that time I'm sitting in my airplane seat.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's number 5?
Number 5. Okay, so here's we're going to put everything out. Don't be too restrictive. You are on vacation. You're not on vacation every day unless you're a gazillionaire, unless you are the person who just won the $1 billion out east somewhere.
Somebody won $1 billion in a lottery?
Didn't the lottery just happen for $1 billion? Somewhere in Connecticut or something?
That's crazy.
Anyway, somebody just won a whole load of money. They might be able to retire and travel every week, right? Most of us don't. So most of us go on vacation a couple times a year, if once a year. I don't want you to be too restrictive. I want you to go and enjoy the food of the place where you're at. Enjoy what's happening. Be mindful. Be mindful. You're not it's not like a free-for-all. Do not eat everything. Do not eat everything all at once. Do not eat everything all the time, every meal. But you know what? Don't be too restrictive. Don't feel like you have to continue to maybe lose weight on vacation. Maybe just you maintain your weight on vacation. Give yourself give yourself some grace.
I think that's a really great point.
Have a taco when you come to Austin. They're delicious. It's okay.
At least one.
At least one. But maybe just one. But maybe just one and not order 3. Maybe just order one and have a taste of it.
Right. Or have them every meal. But I will say, to that point, if we want something to be sustainable, right, we all know it has to be something that doesn't create a lot of pain for us and we don't feel restrictive. So yeah, that goes for a vacation too. And the thought to take away from all of this is, whether it be vacations, graduations, birthdays, if you add up all of the days that are, we'll say, special days during the year, at the absolute most, you're going to get to the number of like 36. In which case, even if those 36 days you went, I don't want to say off the rails, but you were less restrictive, still drank enough water, still focused on getting in some protein, but you had the chocolate cakes and you had the whatevers and you had the buffalo wings or whatever. Buffalo wings aren't even that bad, whatever. You would still be on track 90% of the time. And the question to answer is, what body, what lifestyle, what health would we have if we were on track 90% of the time? It would be fantastic, right? So when, if you are on track a lot of the time when you go on vacation, yeah, it's like, be less restrictive to the level that you wish to be. The most important thing is that when you come back to your normal life, you don't miss a beat. And if you feel guilt, it's like there's 2 sides to it. You can be too restrictive and then feel like, oh, I didn't even enjoy my vacation. On the other side, you can go so far off the rails that you come back and you feel guilt. And then that puts you in a negative feedback loop to where now you're doing less and you feel worse about it. So definitely assess where you are and make the decision that is going to be the best for you.
Yeah. And Ryan, like two things that come to mind when you said that. One is that I had 2, maybe 3, but 2 for sure clients this week say to me, oh my goodness, I ate whatever. And they're like, my body was telling me that did not feel good. Like so this was just in their regular life. And, they overindulged, or not even overindulged, just had something. And then they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't feel good. Like, I don't want to eat that way anymore. So the more you are on track, the more you are able to listen to your body maybe, or the more your body is able to accurately tell you how it's feeling. And you're not going to want to, right? So you have to have that trait, that you might have that trade-off then too. So if you go on vacation, you go crazy or go a little bit crazy one day, you don't also want to feel bad. Like, you want to go and feel good. So why not make good choices? The second thing is, I think one of the things, and I said this last week in terms of, I don't mean to like hype up coaching, but have an accountability partner that, or I do want to hype up coaching too, but also, or have an accountability partner that Ryan just said. So you can do this. It's a finite number of days. It's a finite amount of time. It's a birthday. It's one meal. It doesn't need to be the whole thing. That you have someone that you check in with, that you just get back on track. So if it feels scary to go off track, it's okay. Don't be restrictive all the time. Our bodies need to know that different things are going to happen, but know that you just get right back on. You just get right back on. You are learning to be the type of person that can indulge when you want to, and then get right back on.
Wonderful. To your point too, talking about awareness, I do think that's so significant as we're on our journeys. Sometimes it's just creating enough space to be aware of how our body is feeling when we eat something, because there are so many signals that we are really coming at us all day. And these signals are internal, right? They're emotions we feel, they're feelings, but we also have external signals, and there's tons of them. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system that stops us from really being aware of 95.
You would go crazy if you were aware of everything that was happening, right? You would go crazy.
Yeah. The amount of stimulus that hits us. So it allows you to focus on just what matters, because otherwise we would be overwhelmed. It would be sensory overload. So this is why I'm a big fan of meditation, not necessarily going to a cave and reaching inner peace, but you can. But I'd have to say one of the most powerful, underrated activities that an individual can put into their lifestyle doesn't even need to be that long. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know, in the morning, what I like to say is I give myself the rule. I do it for at least 5 minutes. I wake up, because if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life. You give yourself 5 minutes, and that's just the priority. And if you want to go for longer, you can. And that's what I do. And sometimes it lasts 30 minutes. Sometimes it lasts 15. And I will tell you that for the clients of mine that have put this into place, the day that follows their even 5 to 10 minute meditation or freedom, just space in the morning, they have some of the most productive, pleasurable, on track days that they would have. And it's all just from starting with almost like a blank slate.
I will say 100% right in the same thing. I think there are 3 things that I talk about: pauses, push-ups, plants. Pauses meaning, that push-ups, exercise, and then plants, eating healthy.
I like that.
I will say that I did a whole bunch in my first part of my life of the last 2. The push-ups and the
push-ups and plants.
So eating but I will say my life changed 100%, absolutely, when I added meditation.
Pauses,
There is just, and people say, I know, so I love what you just said about just do it. Even 60 seconds of deep breathing can help rechange. That is not even a sentence, but
change.
Help your whole view of what's happening in that particular space. And you and I probably could have a whole long podcast someday about talking just about the actual physical changes in your brain that happen from.
Yeah.
And if you're a little vain and you care about, if you're a woman and care about wrinkles on your face, I mean, seriously, it actually can help restructure your skin as well. I mean, because everything is tied together. I mean, there's research about that, reducing wrinkles on your face. So
yes.
So the other thing that I was going to say, though, which was not as deep at all, but going back to how your body gives you signals, is that I just giggle when I see those commercials about when your food fights back. It's like the in your face, then take this medicine. I'm like, no, just don't eat the food. Let's stop it before you have to buy the medicine. Let's listen to our bodies. So going back to that whole. Yes, don't be as restrictive on vacation, but listen to your body. Your body is telling you so many things all the time. And if, like you said, you can stop and pause and have that awareness of what the message is, the messages are there. The messages are there. Your body's talking to you all the time. Just let's listen.
Yeah. To your point too, I would say this, there's this idea of treating symptoms versus causes. So it's that'd be an example. It's you take the medication because you are, or the whatever they're selling because, oh my gosh, I have acid reflux. But it's well, what caused the acid reflux? It's the food. But this even goes, I'll bring up sleep because I was talking to a client recently about sleep. And one of the things that she had been talking about was she's having trouble sleeping. So she wanted to know if I recommended any sleep aids. And that would be, the symptom, the symptom is you can't sleep. Yeah. That's not the cause, right? That's that's not the root. It's not,
it's not the thing to solve. I mean,
I won't digress too far.
Yeah.
But to your point, what is the root? And it's well, when you can't sleep, what do you think about? Well, I'm thinking about these things that I just go into a spiral. I just start thinking about all these things I have to do and how I don't know how I'm going to do them. And I feel like I don't have control. Okay. So maybe we could start diving into that stuff, because the brain is like a computer. If you have too many tabs open, it can't rest. So this is part of why also meditation works so well in the first part of the day. Why not do it at the end? So I take, again, minimum of 5 minutes, and I just close the mental tabs in my brain. I sit there and it's meant to be boring. I stare at a wall and I just let ideas come to me. Any idea that I have, I write down, right? And sometimes there's this thought that, oh, if I have an idea and there's something stressful, like I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. It's 10 o'clock at night. Right. But a lot of times you don't need to solve it. You just need to know that you know how to. For example, let's say you're thinking of like, I'm having a, I don't know, let's say you need to get the oil changed in your car, right? You know how to do that, but you just don't want to forget, or your car will blow up eventually. So you just make a note of it. That way it gives you the permission to close the tab in your brain. Because I don't know about you, but I've woken up many times in a night just with the thought of like, oh, I have to schedule that appointment. I have to schedule that appointment. I have to schedule that appointment. But if you're going to put it somewhere, write it down. It doesn't be on your phone. If anything, you want less screen time. But put it on a Post-it and then stick that thing on your fridge. Stick it on your phone because you know you're going to grab your phone. That could be a little system for you too. Just a little nugget.
Yeah, I think too. So if we're getting into that, it's a little bit further. But there are, so if anybody uses meditation apps, there are meditations that you can do in the middle of the night to fall back asleep. Like I use, so Insight Timer is one of the things that I use. It's totally free. I mean, there's a bunch of them, Headspace, Mindful something. I mean, there's a bunch of ones. Insight Timer happens to be free, so I just use that one because there's a gazillion things on there. I looked up 22,000 free meditations. So, if you can't find something you like, I would.
You haven't looked far enough.
But some of the things that they have on there are meditations specifically for falling back asleep.
That is interesting. Yeah.
So sometimes I just have them like at my ready. So I know phones are not supposed to be in bed. I get that. And I do try to shut mine off and like set it a little bit, but I do have it within arm's reach so that if there is something that I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't fall back asleep. I can just like find it quick, hit it. And then, so just an FYI for those of you who wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall back asleep. One other suggestion for you. Okay. But, talking about sleep and vacation as well. I mean, vacation can be a good time to catch up on sleep.
This is true.
But I also will say I've been just doing some new research. I just heard some, not new research, but research about waking up at the same time. Now, I don't know. They didn't talk about vacation stuff, but waking up at the same time every day happens to be helpful in terms of cognition, in terms of things. So I don't know, we can do a whole sleep thing too, but
yeah, circadian rhythm is really powerful. I know it's really tough for,
nurses when you're doing overnights and you're doing 312s and you're doing overnights and you're doing days and you're doing all these things. So not to put more stress on you in terms of
right. But I will say, like, whenever possible, to hold the circadian rhythm, even on weekends, powerful. Like, if you have trouble falling asleep at night, one of the reasons very well can be just, look at your environment. Are you stimulating is your brain super stimulated until the second that you lay down on the pillow? If it is, yes, of course, it's going to take more time to fall asleep.
Do you have blackout shades? I mean, especially like those were a lifesaver for me because I'm an early bed person. And when the time changes, I'm like, it's still light at 9 o'clock and I have to go to bed. Blackout shades.
It's funny. I was actually making a list this morning. I had some inspiration about, creating a list. And I think I'm going to name it like 50 things that I'm doing that I've used to transform my body and have, used to sustain as well. Same stuff we're using with our clients. But in the realm of, sleep, nutrition, exercise, mental health, stress, whatever, self-image, all that. And and I want to share that list, I think, next week on a podcast, not to overwhelm people and be like, you got to do all these things, but just like pick the thing that's the easiest for you to do. And like, all you need to do is chip away that list if you think about it. Because like, if you have 50 things on that list, and let's say you determined each one was important for you, you're probably already doing like 10 of them at least, even if you're not where you want to be yet. So that means if you did one a week and you stacked it, you'd be done before the year's over. Like, hell yeah, let's go.
One a week, easy peasy.
That's good stuff. We had a comment come in real quick. I just want to acknowledge really fast. Patricia said, I still agree. I so agree. Is that the last one?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Those are 2 messages. Okay.
Oh.
She said, Patricia said, I so agree. My husband wanted to sleep in last week's vacation, and it really screwed me up where I ended up getting I don't know what that means, getting lazy maybe, because my body still wanted to wake up early after staying up late. I could only sleep 2 hours and then woke up. Yeah, it's crazy how our body does that. Good info. Yeah, oh yeah, no worries about the autocorrect. Kylie, happy to give the info. Hopefully it helped. Appreciate the comments. Patricia says, I still agree. Yeah. My husband wanted to sleep during vacation. I'm staying up late, but then woke up. Oh, it was just the same message. Okay, I get it. Edited. Okay, and now have several nights of sleep. Several nights of left than normal sleep. Yeah, makes sense. No worries for the autocorrect. Yeah, it's amazing keeping the same schedule. You know, all the things that, you know, if it's funny, a lot of sustaining our bodies, in my opinion, is not you learn to do the thing, you learn about the thing, you do the thing, and then that's just there forever. I don't believe that's the case. What I believe actually the case is that you have all of these habits, and some you fall off from, but then you have the awareness, this is making my life worse, and then you go back. And then there's some others that you fall off and then you go back. This happened to me just this morning. And I wouldn't be aware of this unless I had time to reflect in the morning. But I noticed my workouts have been shorter the last 3 days, 45 minutes, which is not a bad workout, but they're short for me. Because I like to stretch and I take my time, I like to look at myself in the mirror for at least 25 minutes. So yeah, so that's half the workout.
Seriously, come on.
But my workouts have been shorter. I've had less time to be with my son in the morning before we're starting work. And when I look at it, why is that happening? Well, my wife and I are now getting into bed at 9:30 instead of 8:30. And we did this for initially what we thought was going to be a good thing, which was, again, it was unconscious, but it was, we want to spend more time together while Cal is sleeping. But that turned into now sacrificing somewhere else. So I said, hey, I think we got to go back to this. She agreed. And now, we're going back to that. So it's like things I already know. Okay, well, if I want to be in bed by, for us, 8:30, what does that mean? Well, that means that I need my alarm to go off at 7. What is that alarm at 7 for? It's to say, hey, turn off electronics and start to prime your body for sleep. Right. Because there were a couple other nights this week that I put my head down at 9:30 and I could not fall asleep until 10:30 or 11. Why? Well, we were watching a new Netflix show until 9:30. What do you expect? My brain is like, go, go, go. And then not only is it thinking about the Netflix show, but it's thinking about all the things I didn't think about during the day. So now it takes me an hour to process all this. So I go to sleep at 10:30, wake up, and wake up later, and now everything starts to mess up. So I really do believe we just need to be reminded more than we need to be taught.
And, well, and I think exactly to that point is that, and that goes back to something I said earlier, but exactly to that point about so you have this list of 50, right? So that's great. And people are going to try some things and not try some things. I think some things are going to stick, some things aren't going to stick. But again, listening to your body.
Yes.
Right. So I had some clients that ate things that they hadn't eaten in a long time. They were super excited about eating them. And then they were like, oh my goodness, not only did it not taste good, but it didn't feel good. Right.
Yes.
So you get to, as a human being, then learn. You get to go have the habit, go off of the habit, and then learn, okay, maybe that really was a good habit to have. And then so things will come and stay. Maybe they'll fall away for a little bit and come back, or the unhealthy habits will fall away and you just never bring them back because they didn't serve you.
100% agree. I think this goes back to like the kind of the process that we follow with these 4 steps here. And it's like, step 1, you find an action that you think is going to be low pain, high pleasure, results based, you do it.
Yep.
Okay. you get pulled towards doing it more because it works, or if it doesn't work, you discard it, and then you just adapt and learn. Okay, was it worth it? We did it.
And if it falls off for a little bit, that's fine, but you're going to bring it back if it really was working.
Exactly. The most important thing is not that you do every single action that you think will work. It's the fact that you just keep doing this, because when you collect enough evidence for these first 3 steps, you keep doing it. When you collect enough evidence for the fact that you are a fit person, you are someone who takes care of himself, you are someone
who works out on vacation.
Yes.
Like I had a client say to that, she's like, oh my goodness, 12 weeks ago, I never would have done this. But she's like, I'm packing exercise. I'm packing workout clothes for my cruise. I'm like, well, of course you are, because you are a person
that works out. This is who you are. Yes.
Of course you are.
I think it's so easily understated about how powerful this actually is. Creating, like, it's easy to say, it's hard to do. But the ultimate way that you start and never stop again is you create a new identity. And the new identity is only created by new actions. And the new actions have to stack. Every action you don't have to be 100%, which is what a lot of people believe. But you just need the bulk, right?
And you don't need to be 100% day one. So if people are starting, so if you're out there and you're listening and you're just starting, and you hear like 50 things that I'm supposed to be doing, that feels like, oh my goodness, I'm just starting again. No. It is that you have to listen to what Ryan said in terms of like doing one thing. Do one thing. And Ryan said, if you do one thing for the next year, then you'll be a wholly different person. You will just trust in the process. You'll be a wholly different person. But you know what? Maybe you only do one every 2 weeks. Maybe it takes 2 years. It doesn't, there's no timeline. There's no saying you have to change. What I think is important is adopting things slowly so that they stick.
Yes.
Okay, I will give my own super stupid, not stupid. I'm going to give an example. So this is so silly that I'm even sharing this. So I've been trying. So I've got kettlebells all over my house because I love kettlebells, right? And so, seriously, it's been probably 5 years that I found. I read something that this guy does 300 kettlebell swings a day, just randomly, 10 at a time, 25 at a time, whatever. Yeah. I'm like, that's great. I'm going to do it. Totally going to do it. Totally just going to do 300. 5 years later, I do it for 3 weeks and then I'm done. I'm like,
this sucks.
I'm writing articles about building habits. I talk to my clients about building habits slow. Okay, I will tell you, and I'm kind of at the beginning, I am up to 150 kettlebell swings a day.
That's awesome.
I finally said, shoot, I am going to figure this out in the way that I teach everybody else. So coaches sometimes are not smart either, or this one is a little stubborn. So not listening to my own stuff. So I'm going to just tell everybody, just start. And and honestly, I started with 10. I'm going to walk by and I'm going to do 10 a day. 10. If I do more, yippee. But I'm 10 a day.
Got to do 10.
150 I decided by this summer I'll be up to 300. But now it feels easy because I'm yes. Okay, 150 is easy. Before, oh my goodness, it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. I got out of bed. And I have how many left? I'm this is dumb. I'm not doing this ever again. So anyway, start small. Start small. Because it's going to happen. But if you don't start, then it's never going to happen. Right.
100%. Kylie says, small steps, take one thing at a time. It works. She says they all add up. And then she said, I love this one. She goes, it's okay, Coach Rachel. Small steps. Okay to restart when you hit a blockade. Totally true. Absolutely, totally true.
Thank you, Kylie. Duh. I'm smacking myself in the face. Seriously. It's been 5 years. Five, kind of 5 years that I've struggled.
Well, yeah, if there's anyone out there that feels oh man, they haven't been able to figure it out, or they haven't been able to sustain, or they haven't been able to get to a point where it just is, they never even have to think about it ever. I don't think anyone ever gets to that point because again, Rachel's been a coach for so many years. I've been exercising for over 20 years. I've been a coach for over 16. And I just told you before that I messed up my bedtime rituals and stuff like that consistently for like 3-4 days. And I was aware enough to now make the change going back. But I don't think there's ever 100% adherence to what's perfect. I think it's just the bulk. And then you feel good. And then like everyone has a set point where it's like, if you drop below your set point of what you expect for your energy and your how you feel on a daily basis, then you bounce back like I'm bouncing back right now. But it's just all about moving your set point up. And that comes from changing your identity. But I know you have to run and get on a call. So we're going to
actually, I think I have Kylie right after this. So I can
hey!
Yeah, because I will say that now I am going to, like I have it in my head, I'm going to be a person that randomly does 300 kettlebell swings a day. That is just like who I'm meant to be. I am just not there yet, but that is who I'm meant to be. But I couldn't do it starting at 300. I mean, I could do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I really could. I mean, I could because I did, but then I was like, this is dumb. And then I fell off and I'm like, oh, I didn't do it for 2 days, blah, blah, blah. I can't like add that many on for the rest of the days. And then I stopped.
Yes.
So I'm a coach, but I'm a living example of, shoot, this stuff is hard and you have to be mindful. You do have to be mindful, but once you're that person, you just are. And then at my mom's age and my grandmother's age, perhaps my grandmother's going to be 100 in May. Wow. I know.
Good for her.
So I'm vowing at 100, I'm still going to be doing, I don't care how big the kettlebell is. I'm 300
kettlebell. No, you know? That's great. That's exciting. Well, Kylie says, amen. We are human, not robots. That would be boring. Totally agree. All right, we'll end it here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll see you soon. Bye.